Hey everyone, and welcome to the VitaCast, episode 29. I'm your host, Tyler Oltoff, and with me is Kyle Wakeling.
Hey guys.
Alongside Paul Murphy.
Hello everyone.
And Yuki doing our recording as usual. Last week we missed. Apologies, my computer got fried, and yeah, it kind of sucked. So I got a new computer. It's awesome. Really expensive though, so I'm kind of in the hole right now with money, which sucks, but the new computer was worth it.
Tyler will work for dollars.
Donations, please, to Mr. PSVITA reviews.
Yes. I'll be all right. I might have to not buy a couple games, but
or some food.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, let's get this show on the road. Let's start off with what we've been playing. I've been playing a ton of Monster Mon Piece because I got the review for that, so I got to push through that. I'm almost done. I think I have a few more levels to go through, and then I'll be done with that, and then I can start writing that up. Also been playing a bit of Borderlands 2, some Killzone Mercenary, some Hot Shots Golf. What else? Final Fantasy X HD. Played a few things actually since we last talked. I feel like there's another. Oh, I think I played a round of Spelunky. Maybe not. I don't know. It's been a while. Other than that, I think that's it. What about you, Paul? What have you been playing?
Pretty much on the Vita. I've only been playing Borderlands 2. I've had to get Charlie in to help me on a few levels because I'm massively under-leveled, but I'm getting quite close to the end now, and obviously I'm waiting for the patch, which should be coming this week before I finish my review. To be honest, I've actually been playing more on the PlayStation 4 this week because of the World Cup. I've been playing FIFA and doing the World Cup challenges that are on there.
Nice. What about you, Kyle?
Well, as you may have been able to tell by my tweets and posts and etc., I platinum Monster Mon Piece.
Woo! Congrats.
Yeah. Slow pause, please. No. Thank you. So yeah, my arms are like the size of like a gorilla's now. I could probably just like crush people. So yeah, there's that. Also, I've been playing a little Hot Shots Golf. Got to keep that going.
Losing at me, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know why, but Tyler seems to be beating me. Maybe it's because I'm playing too much PS3 version. I don't know.
A little rusty.
Something.
Practice.
Maybe I'm just too strong now and I'm breaking the Vita.
Sure. All right, so that's what we've been playing for this week. Let's head on over to the new releases. Paul, what do we got this week?
I'm going to catch up with last week's releases as well that we missed. Starting with North America, we had Kill Cut Card Gods, which released for $5.99. Brad's playing through that at the moment. We don't know an awful lot about that, and we'll be able to get his thoughts pretty soon. In Europe last week, you had Z-Run launching. You can pick that up for £7.39, €8.99 or $13.45. That's like an on-rail zombie masher. Brad is also playing through that one. And that was what came out last week. This week, you've got Magical Beat releasing from Arc System Works. It's a drop-down puzzle title with all sorts of different musical beats going on, which sounds quite interesting. I think you've reached out for a review copy of that, haven't you?
Yeah, I sent an email out to them, so hopefully we'll be hearing some back soon. Okay,
excellent stuff. This week as well in Europe, we haven't got, obviously, the store update yet, but we do know that MotoGP 14 is launching. North American gamers are going to have to wait till September for that, but it's launching this week, and we're going to hopefully get a copy of that. And that's pretty much it for the releases that we know about. There's some great sales on the store at the moment. In Europe, you can pick up games like Hotline Miami, Ollie Ollie, and TXK for really, really stupid prices. And you can also get Hot Shots Golf, Killzone Mercenary, Luftbrausers, and Real Boxing at very affordable prices on the North American store as well. Well worth having a look at some of those sales.
Nice. Is that all the sales there is?
There's a new one as well. There's an only on PlayStation sale going on right now in North America, which has a few games on there, but it doesn't really look like there's a particular amount on there for the Vita. They've got Flower listed on there for all three formats, even though these titles are probably going to be cross-buy. PlayStation All-Stars is on there. Dead Nation's on there. Again, if any of these games are things that you'd be interested in, but you've been holding off because of the price, just go and have a look and see if it's a bit of you.
All right. Did you mention the PlayStation Plus deal? I can't remember if you did or not.
No, PlayStation Plus. At the moment in Europe, you can pick up Pixel Junk Shooter, Lone Survivor, Dragon's Crown, and Surge Deluxe. They're the June offerings for European Vita owners. In North America, you've again got Pixel Junk Shooter, Mutant Mudds Deluxe, Terraria, and Sly Cooper Thieves in Time.
Very nice.
They're going on till the end of June. But one thing on PlayStation Plus that we have to mention is the piece that Kyle stuck up, which says, public service announcement. If you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you need to read this or listen. If you're a PlayStation Plus member who hasn't downloaded the original titles from the PlayStation Vita Instant Game Collection, Uncharted Golden Abyss, Gravity Rush, and Wipeout 2048, you really need to get a move on. They're great games. Not only that, but this will be the last week you'll be able to grab them for free in North America. According to this week's PlayStation blog update, all three will be rotating out of the in-game collection come the 24th when the store updates. Even if you're not interested in getting these titles, you should just add them, tag them, start the download or cancel it, do whatever it is to get it into your download list, because you won't be able to get them for free again.
For who knows how long.
Exactly. Well, I think once the title's on the in-game collection, it won't ever go back on it again. I think it might appear in store, in sales and stuff like that. But if you want these games for free, just get them now.
Yeah, if you haven't downloaded them yet, you should. Something's wrong. Yeah.
I mean, European gamers, there's been no word yet from Sony Europe, but I've checked my store this morning, and Gravity Rush is still free, but it's not listed in the PlayStation Plus games. But Uncharted isn't. It's £19.99 now. So if you want Gravity Rush, go and get it before they stick a price on it.
All right. Question for Kyle.
Yes, sir.
So I know you hate Terraria.
Yes, sir.
But it's going on Plus. Are you going to grab it?
I'm going to tag it in case I get bored sometime way in the future, but no, I'm not going to download it.
All right. That was just my question. Now I can bug you and be like, hey, guess what you have?
No, Tyler, no.
It's going to happen. Don't worry.
It'll never happen.
One of these days. I promise one of these days we will have a lounge play with Kyle in it playing Terraria.
Never
Probably yelling at all of us like, you guys suck. This game's garbage for 10 minutes of us playing.
Yeah, the only way I'm going to be in a lounge play for Terraria is if I'm only on the party chat and I'm yelling at you guys for playing Terraria.
While you're playing Terraria.
Well, I'm playing something else.
Oh. Well. Lame. All right.
Whatever.
Well, let's head on to the news because since we missed last week, we've got a decent list here. So let's just get it started. First up, been waiting a few weeks avoiding all those spoilers around the internet. Well, the wait is over. You can now pick up Episode 3 in Harm's Way in the DLC section of the store. Continuing where Episode 2, A House Divided, left off, Episode 3 follows Clementine and the other survivors further into the zombie-laden wilderness. Interested in Season 2 but not sure if it's for you, check out Kyle's review of the season up till now on the site. He's updated it to include Episode 3 as well. The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 3 in Harm's Way is available now in North America and Europe. Next, Japan is getting some colorful deals for the Vita in July. Red/black and blue/black value packs have been announced for July 10th for the new Vita 2000 models. These two-tone systems are set to be released with the usual USB cable and charger, as well as a screen protector, pouch, and an 8GB memory card, preloaded with Destiny of Spirits, Asia, Magicka Wars, Zanbatsu, No Puzzles Either, Rebellion Run, Dash, or Capture, Yakuza Restoration, and Hatsune Miku Project Diva F Second. These new bundles will be selling for 18,980 yen, or 184.95 US, or 135.77 euros. A version of the value bundle with the original Vita version will also be released for 19,980 yen, or 195.68 US, or 143.03 euros. Next, is this Clever or Cleversoft? Anyone know?
I think it's Cleaversoft, but I'm not 100% sure.
All right, well, it looks like Cleaver, so I'm going to say Cleaversoft. Cleaversoft has taken to the PlayStation blog to announce that their new roguelike runner, Earth Knight, will be heading to the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4 in 2015. In the future, dragons have taken over the Earth and have forced humans into an outer space exile. This doesn't sit well with our two protagonists, Stanley and Sydney. They have taken it upon themselves to go on the offensive and skydive down to Earth and take out as many dragons as they can along the way. The action will be divided between frantic side-scrolling platform levels in which you run and jump on the backs of dragons, and skydiving levels which will slow the pace down a bit and allow you to catch your breath. Also, the difficulty will be determined by which characters you select. Stanley will feature an easier-to-use control scheme and will be better suited for beginners, while Sydney's controls will be less intuitive but ultimately more rewarding. Earth Knight features beautiful hand-painted animation along with a soundtrack from acclaimed chiptune artist Crit. You can look forward to this game coming to PlayStation Vita sometime in 2015.
Alrighty, I guess it's my turn.
That it is.
Tecmo Koei has officially announced that Samurai Warriors 4 is coming to North America and Europe this fall. Unofficially announced at the London MCM Comic-Con last week, Samurai Warriors 4 will reportedly feature over 50 playable characters, as well as the ability to switch between two characters in real time during gameplay. Co-op functionality and cross-save will be supported across all three currently supported PlayStation systems, though the title will not be cross-buy. PlayStation Vita version of the title will be $39.99 when it launches in North America October 21st, with the price for a European release on the 24th yet to be announced. A new PlayStation Vita game has been revealed on the PlayStation Europe blog titled One Way Trip. In the reveal post, Michael Fraunhofer, project lead on One Way Trip, discusses the game, as well as the PlayStation platform as a whole and what the platform offers for developers for their games, as well as the immediately obvious and hugely distinctive art style that One Way Trip adopts. The subject matter itself is something completely unique. Quote, in One Way Trip, you and your brother Barry discover that you've been poisoned in a mass attack on the water supply that has left a large portion of the nation with only 6 hours left to live, during which time they will be constantly hallucinating or tripping. Fraunhofer explains, continuing, quote, to put it another way, it's an atmospheric exploration of what it would be like to find out that you and almost everyone you love is about to die, and then have to process that while your limbs turn into cartoon dolphins, end quote. As well as the rather obscure subject matter, Fraunhofer offers little specific detail regarding the gameplay for One Way Trip, although from the teaser trailer it looks like combat will be cover and turn-based system, similar to the XCOM games. Fraunhofer also states that the team fell in love with the battle system, and alongside the main story mode, there will be a standalone battle mode to play. While there's no release date or window for One Way Trip at present, the only detail available in terms of development timeframe is that the game has been in development for a year or so. We'll have more on this game as it becomes available. Next, we knew it was coming, but Xseed have officially announced Senran Kakura Bon Appetit is coming west this winter. Yeah, I know, eh? I posted the rumor the other day, but now we've got official confirmation. Dekamori Senran Kagura is coming west as Senran Kagura Bon Appetit this winter. And this is from the press release. Quote, revealed for the first time, this rhythm spin-off of the Ninja Busty Brawler series, Senran Kagura, features cooking battles rather than shinobi showdowns. The emphasis is on outrageous humor, delicious food, and plenty of eye candy. Culinary warfare is carried out through an array of rhythm battles. Tap the correct buttons in time with the beat to rack up combos and determine the size and quality of the resulting dish. With 10 girls to choose from, 22 and including additional DLC, players are challenged to create the ultimate super dish and unlock a special feast for the eyes. Aw, yeah. No specific release date or pricing has been announced other than the aforementioned winter, but we've got lots of time for that in the coming months. Also, it's of note that the title will be digital only, so it might be a good idea to start freeing up some space now, because I hear it's like 3 to 4 gigabytes.
Speaking of which, my friend accidentally bought a 64 gigabyte memory card, and she's like, I don't want this. Do you want it? So she's giving me her 64 gigabyte, and I'm going to give her my 32.
I hate each other.
So just... Make Kyle jealous.
I'm sitting here with a 16 trying to save up money for a friggin' 32, man.
Well, if she was giving it to me for free, I would have just sent you my 32. But she wants the 32.
I know. You're a generous guy, Tyler, I know.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's continue on. Well-Formed Pixels have announced today that they are bringing their iOS game Gunship X over to the PlayStation Vita sometime later this year. Drawing inspiration from Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Starship Troopers, Gunship X is a top-down shooter that puts you in control of the mighty weapons mounted to an AC-130 gunship. Your mission is to defend humanity against the hordes of alien invaders and provide enough cover fire to allow the humans to evacuate. The game is designed around bit-sized moments of action. Each level should last approximately 5 minutes or so. Players will be able to switch between various weapons in order to select the right tool for the job, and also to give certain weapons a cooldown period. Then as the game progresses and the pace quickens, developer Serbin Porumbask, oh god, that is such a difficult name, claims the intensity quickly ramps up from there as you see friendlies abducted and taken off the edge of the game board. Over time, you have to balance your focus between saving humans to maximize earnings, keeping the landing zone clear of hostiles, and dispatching the bomber aliens that can shoot you down. When the game arrives, expect to enjoy 30 levels spread across 4 different battle zones with 2, possibly 3 gunships to choose from. So far, the AC-130 and AC-17 have been confirmed, with a possible mystery third ship in the works. Next up, while originally set to release in May, as is the last bit of news we've heard, Beat Saber's Z-Run is now set to release June 18th in Europe and June 24th in North America. The wait for the title is quickly nearing its end. If you haven't heard of the game before, let me give you a crash course. Quote, Z-Run thrusts you into zombie-infused runner, focusing on two main modes or gameplay, story and survival. Story mode tasks you with escaping the city one level at a time, while survival mode tasks you to hold out as long as you can against the horde of zombies. The game increasing in difficulty as you progress through the levels or waves. End quote. Next up, this week's issue of Famitsu shares new details on the latest title in the Phantasy Star series, Nova. Developed by Tri-Ace, known for their work on Star Ocean, Phantasy Star Nova takes place in the world of Phantasy Star Online 2, and it will have its own original story with the main characters of Latina, Zeal, Izuna, Fordia, and Magnus. According to Siliconera, the game is said to be closer to the first Phantasy Star Online, with a focus on survival and features costume destruction. Character creation is said to use much more realistic textures, and you will be able to change your character's design later in the game once you have met certain criteria. The battle system is said to be completely different from that of Phantasy Star Online 2, so players that are new to the series can jump right in. Upon starting Phantasy Star Nova, players won't have any facilities, but they'll be unlocked over time, and the order of which one gets unlocked can be decided by the players. The game has confirmed ad hoc multiplayer, but no news of any online play at this time. Expect more details on June 15th at the Phantasy Star Festival. Nova is set to release later this year in Japan. In the event of a Western release, we will let you know, although we are still waiting for Online 2 to make it here.
Alrighty. Well, I'd just like to note that what the hell is with all these games now doing costume destruction?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, Senran Kakura, like, costume destruction. Now everyone's doing it. Like, Jesus.
It's
all these games
now.
are like, next thing it's going to be like the most like cheesy like kids game. It's going to be like costume destruction or something. They're just getting overboard with it. It's getting a little crazy. Anywho, back to the news. Hohokum developers Honeyslug took to the PlayStation blog to explain more about their zany title and to announce that it will be releasing on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Vita on August 12th. If you've not heard of Hohokum before, then allow me to try to explain. From their own website, Honeyslug describe it as, quote, "It is a whimsical, colorful game with an emphasis on playable exploration and creativity. Players take on the role of a curious flying Technicolor kite-like being Along their travels through the vibrant world, players will be able to uncover secrets by interacting with elements around them in different ways, such as carrying characters to new areas on their back or flying over objects to illuminate them. The world of Hohokam is full of surprise. Even running into certain objects can be its own reward, as the interaction produces a tune or sounds that add to the level's music track. From the way the player navigates the world, to the various ways the characters communicate, to the abstract, vivid artwork, Hohokam is an expressive and mesmerizing universe. While there are goals, secrets, and trophies discovered along the way, at its heart, Hohokam is a playground, a place to wander about and get lost in. End quote. Next up, have you been keeping tabs on Gravity Crash Ultra for the Vita? If so, the wait is almost over. Just Add Water emailed us to say that the Vita version of their first ever PlayStation title will be launching on the PlayStation Store this July. Gravity Crash Ultra has been reworked from the ground up to make most of the Sony's handheld console. The game features a much improved graphics engine, which allows the game to run on the Vita's native resolution at a steady 60 frames per second. New textures, lighting, and particles bring retro shooters into 2014, making them look better than ever. The GUI, graphic user interface, has been streamlined for the Vita's portable touchscreen with 3 new ship designs representing each of the difficulty levels, including a new anti-gravity ship for the easy difficulty. The producer of the game's original music, industry veteran Cold Storage, has returned to give the original soundtrack a brand new remix. Many of the audio effects have been improved with a new pickup, voiceover, and more intense atmosphere. Gravity Crash's unique level editor returns with a new touch interface, yet again allowing players to share their creation with others. Along with the release of the game on Vita, there will be a small update to Gravity Crash on PS3 to make level sharing compatible across all platforms. There's a list of changes here, but I'm not going to read them. So look forward to that, and look forward to Just Add Water's Oddworld New and Tasty, which should be coming out sometime. Next up, the ever-leaky Amazon France has just posted a product page which seems to indicate a PlayStation 4 Vita bundle for release on July 4th for €579.99. The vast majority of these leaks normally result in confirmation, so we'll keep our eyes peeled to E3, which of course is next week. This was obviously written a while ago, and this never came up. There have been long suggestions of a Vita PS4 bundle, but nothing has ever been confirmed, although at this price, gamers would not be really saving much at all. In a separate bundle-related piece of news, Twitter user Wario64 tweeted a Best Buy advert for next week, which would be last week, or this week, I'm not sure, which offers a PS4 and Vita for $560.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Natsume has announced that they will be developing a new reel fishing title named Reel Fishing Masters Challenge for the PlayStation Vita. Natsume has revealed that they will be adding to the Vita's collection of fishing games with this entry and providing us with the description of the new title. Quote, "One day you return to the fishing lodge where you spent lots of time with your father when you were young. But once you step inside, the memories you had in this place as a child come flooding back to you. Motivated by the memories of your past, you decide to embark on the same journey that your father did when you were young. Will you be able to catch all of this fish your father caught all those years ago and even surpass him?" End quote. Natsume are still to confirm a release date for Reel Fishing Masters Challenge, but as soon as they do, you can be sure to catch the news here at the Vita Lounge. I see what they did there. Catch them. All right. Next, Reaper, a free-to-play action RPG, is coming exclusively to the PlayStation Vita. Luke Bernard has recently released more information concerning his RPG involving Death and her army of Reapers. Originally announced as a PSP game in 2010 and revealed to be coming to PlayStation Vita back in October 2013, Reaper had been put on hold and is now close to making its appearance on PlayStation Vita. The game adds to the traditional RPG formula of leveling up and enemy destruction by throwing cards into the mix. These cards will take on 4 different roles. Weapon and armor cards, which arm you with various weapon and armor, obviously, with different capabilities. Summons, bring in huge creatures to inflict damage on your enemies. Spells, cast fire and various other spells. Pets, the pets will follow you and attack your enemies. The game revolves heavily around the story of Death and her trials and tribulations in love and life. Quote, for as long as she can remember, Death has worked tirelessly to take the lives and souls of humans, constantly ending the lives of innocents and corrupt alike begin to take its toll on her, and she soon grew lonely and depressed. Eventually, she fell in love with a mortal man. After much debate with her sisters, she chose to disobey them and granted her lover immortality, and in doing so created the first Reaper. End quote. Corrupted by his newfound power, he left Death and broke her heart. Now, if there's ever anything I've learned in life, it's that you don't want to upset Death in any way. Regardless, she withdrew herself from her job in the world until her sisters forced her back into killing once again. Now she has become a cold and bitter husk of her former self internally and a slave to her dark task. Now Death is back, and hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. She has formed a new army of Reapers that will not betray her again, and she is out to kill in cold blood. She's Death. Killing is kind of what she does. Reaper will be playable on the E3 show floor, and once again will be free to play. Next, Don't Starve made its way to the PlayStation 4 back in January of this year, but now we Vita owners get to enjoy this experience on the go in the form of Don't Starve Giant Edition. According to Corey Rowlands from Klee Entertainment, Don't Starve Giant Edition for the PlayStation Vita will include the updates currently released on PC and PS4, as well as the multi-leveled caves update and the discoverable adventure mode that puts your survival skills to the test with multiple randomly generated unique worlds as you try to escape your wild and strange prison. Corey also says that, quote, along with the original versions of Don't Starve, you'll also get the Reign of Giants expansion included, so Vita players will get access to the original 9 characters and 2 new additions. Play as Wigfrid, a stage actress who went a bit too far with method acting on her latest role on Ancient Valkyrie, or Weber, a young boy who lives inside the spider who tried to eat him long ago, end quote. He goes on to say that the Reign of Giants expansion adds new seasonal challenges, including the torrential rainfalls of spring and the blistering heat of summer. You also get new procedurally generated biomes filled with new creatures and gatherables that will either help you survive or kill you. Oh, and giants. End quote. They also are taking advantage of the Vita's touch features. Using the screen, you can now navigate the menus, maps, items, and crafting. Luckily for people that don't fancy touch controls, you can still use classic button navigation as well. No news has been released as to when we will see Don't Starve Giant Edition, but be sure to stay tuned as we at the Vita Lounge will be sure to let you know as soon as we do.
Yeah, because there's no news for Vita, guys. It's dead. Give me a break. Let's go on to more news. Alrighty. We are quite fond of Soul Sacrifice Delta, and it's very pleasing to see that with the new 1.2 update, Sony Computer Entertainment are carrying on where they left off with the first title by offering free DLC. Aw, yeah. In addition to a myriad of bug fixes, Kumi Yuasa from SCEA says, quote, today's DLC adds the Otherworld packs to the additional pack section, with 6 new quests featuring the fiery Chthonian Fiend and the sparky Abyssal Fiend. They've not come empty-handed either, that would just be rude, for they've each brought a couple of offerings with them. Those spells are yours to keep should you be strong enough to defeat these mighty beasts. And we're not forgetting the more fashion-conscious of you with the Mononofu costume for her and for him, thrown in for good measure, end quote. In addition to the Tukiden content, Kumi explains a little about the new Archfiend to encounter the Bahamut, I believe. Quote, Bahamuts are complex creatures, though very elusive. They will simply not show up without another Archfiend in the vicinity. So be prepared if one invites itself to one of your quests, as the reward for defeating it and completing the quest will be worth the effort indeed. Speaking of quests, we've added the additional Pact 6, which brings the usual set of 3 new quests. Next, we've got a chapter to the Avalon Sorceress Deeds, introducing the Reaper. If you've thought some of the Sorcerer's tales were heartbreaking, wait until you hear the Reaper's story. Let's just say it's not called the Reaper's Gloom for nothing. Note, the Reaper set includes 4 story chapters, ally potential, soul and or life essence, and a rather tasteful costume, end quote. Also included in the DLC is a set of raiment and accessories inspired by the Dream Chasers of Wild Arms. There are 3 costumes, Lady Harkin, Night Blazer, and Drifter, plus a bunch of headgear, including Handpan himself. Hopefully this will be the start of a large selection of content for Delta. Let us know what you think. Next up, we had caught murmurings of a new title from Atlas earlier this week, and now we can reveal that it is called Rollers of the Realm, a title which combines fantasy role-playing with pinball. Pinballs themselves are replaced with playable characters with different attributes, abilities, and even physics, with tables portrayed as different locations, which house many secrets and areas. The title features a 6-chapter story where you will have to master all the characters. Rollers of the Realm features a history for all the characters, which is explained as you progress, and in cutscenes, the characters are voiced to enhance the storytelling. New characters and abilities can be obtained, which will be crucial to pass some of the game's later battles. The game will be released as a digital-only title later this year on the Vita, PS4, and PC, but will be playable at E3. We'll have more news, or we'll bring you more news as we have it. Next up, the 20th anniversary edition of Another World is coming to PlayStation Vita this year, and we've got a trailer to show it off, which you can check out on the site. Another World was originally hinted at coming to Vita back at the end of April when Brad posted the German ratings board, the USK, having rated the game for Vita. Now we finally got confirmation. For those not in the know, or old enough to know as it may be, the game follows protagonist Lester Knight Chaikin, a young genius physicist who, in the opening cinematic, arrives at his high-tech underground laboratory. Pulling up in his Ferrari during a thunderstorm, he goes to work on his experiment using a particle accelerator, attempting to reconstruct what happened to when the universe was born. Immediately before the particles reach their intended destination, a lightning bolt strikes the laboratory, interferes with the accelerator, causing the unforeseen particle fusion and an explosion, opening a hole in time and space, transporting Lester to a barren alien planet. It is on this planet most of the game takes place, with Lester trying to escape from a set of hostile aliens and get back home. Another World is a platform game featuring a control scheme wherein the player uses a gamepad to make a protagonist run, jump, attack, and perform other situation-specific actions. At the start of the game, Lester is unarmed. However, later he can pick up weapons such as the laser pistol and plasma ball to defend himself. After all, a single hit marks death, so Lester needs all the help he can get. Another World is set to hit consoles by the end of the year, and we've actually heard that it's coming out on the 25th and 26th of this month, I believe. We believe it's for Vita, although they only mentioned PlayStation 4, so we're not 100% sure.
Next up, free-to-play spirit battling game Destiny of Spirits is getting an update next week. We take a look at just what the update brings to the table. Love it or hate it, free-to-play title Destiny of Spirits is getting a bit of, I guess it's kind of what I just said. All right. The upcoming update adds a Spirits Almanac, increases the maximum number of spirit slots that can be added by spending Destiny orbs by 10, improves the lock and sell buttons, allows points to be received in batches from the mailbox, stops time when a friend assists in battle, adjusts the process by which trades are performed, adds new spirits to regular summons, 6 UC spirits, changes the game icon on the home screen, includes other bug fixes, and prepares for further events. The update will be followed by the Dragon Slayer's in-game event, in which players are able to take on the powerful creature in combat. As part of this limited time event, all users who register prior to the July 1st will receive a super rare wizard summon as a gift. The event is a little different depending on the region, so those interested should check out the North American, European, and Asian posts on the PlayStation website. Next up, Spanish developer Relevo has just released a trailer for their upcoming arcade-style puzzle platformer Baboon, coming to PlayStation Vita later this year. Check that out on the site. You play as Tumbali, who takes it upon himself to restore the peace after the mischievous pirate monkey uses his anti-gravity gun to wreak havoc on his homeland. Armed with his grandfather's helmet and 8 different types of explosives, it's his job to adventure through 60 different levels in 7 distinct areas, putting everything right as he goes. Baboon is set to release sometime this year as a digital download. Next up, Fat Princess started life on the PlayStation 3 as a real-time strategy game that was a great success when it released on the PlayStation Network in 2009. It appears that owners of the PlayStation Vita will get a taste of the sugary delights the princess loves when the free-to-play Fat Princess: A Piece of Cake launches later this year. Developed by One Loop Games, the team that made Uncharted Fight for Fortune, Fat Princess: A Piece of Cake will see the original Fat Princess formula turned into a strategic turn-based match 3 game. By chaining gems, you aim to take down the blue army using 4 different classes that are upgradable using special gems. You can use the princess herself in battle when she is fed cake, which will unleash a smash attack to devastate your enemies with. Fat Princess: A Piece of Cake will feature over 55 levels split across 5 lands with 10 extra challenge levels. The game will feature an online leaderboard and an in-app purchases. If you are skillful enough to reach level 15 in the game, you will be rewarded with a free copy of Fat Princess for the PS3. That's kind of cool. The game has just been soft released for iOS devices in the Canadian App Store, but is due to release on PlayStation Vita and Android devices later this year. We have some screenshots from the iOS version, which you can take a look at below on the website. Are you interested in this game? Let us know in the comments, and yeah, keep your eye on the Vita Lounge for more news about it.
Alrighty. Moving on. Tough as Nails 2D platformer La Mulana gets a release window worldwide. The protagonist of the game is Lamisa, a whip-wielding Tomb Raider similar to Indiana Jones who takes it upon himself to explore the tomb within La Mulana. Although there is only one ending in the game, there are many ways to get there. Completing objectives in the game doesn't need to be linear, nor is there an obvious and recommended path to take. Many power-ups will allow you to reach new areas, a staple of Metroidvania-style games, but the game gives no directional indication or objective markers. La Mulana originally debuted on PC in 2005, getting remade for Wii and PC again in 2011 before landing a sequel via Kickstarter last year. Revenue from the Kickstarter campaign apparently fell short of reaching console release stretch goals, but if the Vita port of the original is successful, you never know what could happen. La Mulana is set to hit Vitas worldwide this December. Tetris Ultimate has been announced for the PlayStation Vita, coming later this year. The very first announcement on the PlayStation E3 press conference actually occurred before the conference started, as father of Tetris Alexei Pajitnov announced that Tetris Ultimate is Vita-bound later this year. The game includes both single-player and multiplayer modes, including 6 different modes of play, 5 reborn from previous fan favorites, and a worldwide leaderboard. It's nothing short of the best Tetris experience on the go, and it can be yours on PlayStation Vita this fall. Are you excited to flip those and drop those blocks? I definitely can't wait. And PlayStation exclusive Entwine comes to PlayStation 4 the other day, with the PlayStation 3 Vita cross-buy in the works for when the other versions launch. So it was sort of leaked earlier when a trophy list was revealed and talked about around the internet, but beyond the name and possible platforms, not much was known. The PlayStation E3 conference has changed that. This is what Dominic Robillard, creative director of Pixelopus, had to say about the game on the PlayStation blog. Quote, "It's a beautiful, addictive, and abstract action arcade game about 2 souls who are in love, but that can't be together. These souls are represented by a bird and a fish, which you must learn to control simultaneously. Over the course of 9 lifetimes, you will help these 2 characters come together with the eventual goal of uniting them for eternity. The story is inspired by an ancient Chinese myth, and the theme of reincarnation lives in our level structure. Within each of these very lifetimes, you will earn the opportunity to bring the 2 souls together, and at that moment, they will turn into a soaring dragon. This empowering transformation was designed as a moment of liberation and pure gameplay reward to celebrate this important moment in each lifetime. The freedom and joy of flight soon leads to the ability for players to skywrite using glorious tales of light and living paint across the sky. We hope that players will enjoy this ability to create their own aerial sculptures, and on the PlayStation 4 system, they can share what they make with their friends using the share button. The PS4 release of Entwined is priced at $9.99 on the North American PSN store, with the release date for the Vita PS3 set for about a month from now.
Alright, next up, the PlayStation Now Open Beta is coming to Canada and the US on July 31st, with the Vita getting support for the service soon after. Announced during the PlayStation conference at E3, the PlayStation Now service is going open beta on PlayStation 4 July 31st, and Vita soon after. For those not in the know, PlayStation Now is Sony's reimagining of the Gaikai service, bringing streaming PlayStation 3 games to PlayStation 4, Vita, and other devices to spread the gaming love. It's currently in closed beta and has been for a while, but seems to be progressing well towards a final stable product. We'll have more on PlayStation Now as it becomes available. For now, just be glad they're thinking of us Vita owners. During the PlayStation conference at E3, Devolver Digital gave us a better look at some of their upcoming Vita titles. Broforce, Hotline Miami 2, Not a Hero, and Titan Souls getting trailers, screenshots, and details on the PlayStation blog soon after. Let's check it out. Broforce, developed by South African-based Free Lives, is a cooperative patriotism simulation in which you play as an 80s and 90s action heroes waging war against terror in almost entirely destructible nostalgic settings. Superficially, Broforce is a run-and-gun which lies in the vein of Metal Slug. The game's reactive environment encourages tactical play, with each bro out of the 15 the game currently features having their own distinctive attacks and special abilities. The best part, you can go it alone or team up with friends to bring the pain in 4-player online co-op. Broforce is set to release sometime early next year, with some fun bells and whistles and tactical strikes included. Next up, Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Number. The original Hotline Miami is a perfect example of something best on Vita, and we expect that Wrong Number will continue this trend. Fans of the original can apparently look forward to the trademark fast-paced combat and intense soundtrack, but with new twists and turns as the narrative shifts between different factions affected by the events of Hotline Miami. According to the post on the PlayStation blog, Hotline Miami 2 is Wrong Number is set to hit sometime later this year. Not a Hero, from developer Roll7, who previously brought us Ollie Ollie. Not a Hero is a mix of elevator action, Hotline Miami, and Gunpoint, combined to make something that felt absolutely magical and altogether unique from the aforementioned games. A 2/4D cover-based indie shooter, this one's set to turn some heads when it releases early next year. Next, Titan Souls. Titan Souls, from developer Acid Nerve, is inspired by minimalist games like Shadow of the Colossus and the intensely challenging Dark Souls. The game tells the story of an unnamed warrior who is on the quest to bring down the ancient titans with not but a single indestructible arrow. In Titan Souls, there are no classes of enemies, no crafting, no grinding, and no side quests. Just you, the player, and the 24 titans scattered throughout the land awaiting your arrow. Titan Souls is set to release sometime early next year. That's 4 great games coming to Vita from publisher Devolver Digital. Hotline Miami 2 later this year, and the others early next year, as well as 2 of their Vita titles already published, D-Nation's original Hotline Miami and Vampires Leaf Trousers. Looks to me like Devolver's support of the Vita won't be winding down anytime soon, and for that, we at TVL applaud them.
Announced during PlayStation's E3 press conference, that lovely little microconsole is making its way to Europe and North America this fall with a new name. Originally called the PlayStation Vita TV when it launched in Japan November 14th, the PlayStation Vita TV has come a long way since its introduction, but never really reached its potential in Japan. Thankfully, however, Western audiences have been drooling over the device since it was announced in the Land of the Rising Sun, and now it's almost here. The PlayStation TV, new name, will be available this fall for $99 US as a standalone console purchase, or can be bought in a bundle for $139 US, adding a DualShock 3 controller, a GB PlayStation Vita memory card, HDMI cable, and a voucher code for Lego Movie the video game. Pricing for Europe has yet to be released, but we assume there will be the usual conversion tax included when it does. Are you excited to get your hands on one of these babies? For $100, I know I am. That'll be my next save up after my friggin' memory card. Disney's second generation Infinity title is coming to PlayStation Vita consoles, including PlayStation TV, later this year. Did you catch it? I bet you didn't. In a very stealthy announcement during the PlayStation conference at E3, Disney Infinity 2.0 was announced as coming to Vita, but only mentioned once. That's not talked about once. That's the entire idea of the game and it coming to Vita was simply said, and then they continued on, and that was it. Nonetheless, a few of us caught it, so here we are. Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel Superheroes is split up into 2 game modes, Playset and Toy Box. Playset mode is set to follow multiple plots, with each playset having its own. The Avengers playset will center around Loki and MODOK, who are attempting to rebuild the casket of ancient winners with the aid of the Frost Giants, for example. Toy Box mode allows players to create their own games and worlds using items locked while playing through Playset mode. Tons of improvements and upgrades have been made from the original, but I'm sure we'll have more on that as the title nears release. Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel Superheroes is set to release September 23rd, though it's not exactly clear if that extends to the Vita version as well, though we hope it does. Also, those son of a guns over at Sony tried to slip the Disney Infinity 2.0 announcement past us, but it was caught. Indeed, it will be released for both PlayStation Vita and PlayStation TV this year, or early next year, apparently. This will bring the Vita on par with the Nintendo 3DS, which already has a version of Disney Infinity available. The problem is that the 3DS version of the game is, well, not good at all. The good news, though, is that the Vita version will be just like the PlayStation 3 version, and that's a quote. John Vignocchi, Disney's executive producer for Infinity, took to Twitter to confirm as much. President 2038 on Twitter asked, so there will be a Vita version of Disney Infinity 2.0. Will it be more like the PS3 version or 3DS version? Cross-save? ? And John Vignocchi replied, it will be just like the PlayStation 3 version. Delt Soulman can fill you in on details. He's managing it. So apparently they're making it like the console version, so you guys can breathe a sigh of relief. The stable of kid-friendly games is continuing to grow on the Vita, and with new devices like the PlayStation Vita TV or PlayStation TV being released in Europe and North America, the potential for the platform remains strong. Don't let anyone tell you any different. And during the E3 PlayStation press conference, it was revealed that Tim Schafer's Grim Fandango was getting a PlayStation 4 Vita remaster, complete with a little humor. So there's a letter that they actually had done up on screen there. It was like written as though it was coming from a child, saying that, you know, they have to get Tim Schafer's game on there and all that crap. It was actually pretty funny. You guys should check it out. But Grim Fandango was first released in 1998 and is now considered to be a classic, having quite the cult following behind it. Gameplay follows character Manny as he follows female character Mish through a neo-noir underworld, progression achieved through solving puzzles using objects found in the game. Grim Fandango is making its way to PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4 sometime. We don't know much more than that, but hey, it's a start, right?
All right, next up, another one of those stealth announcements from PlayStation's E3 press conference. Tales from the Borderlands from Telltale Games was confirmed to hit Vita. Woo! No date or further information was given, but it was definitely mentioned. Tales from the Borderlands, Telltale's episodic adventure-style take on Gearbox's first-person shooter, is coming to PlayStation Vita. If you've ever wondered what the game might look like, a few screenshots were to be had on their website, but they're clearly PC/Xbox, so the look of the Vita version may vary from what you see here, so check those out on the website. Tales from the Borderlands is set to release sometime this summer. Hopefully that includes the Vita version, considering that all the other Telltale games come quite a bit later. So let's hope that it's the same day. Next, originally released last year on PC and Xbox 360, it has been revealed that Two Brothers from Axe Studios is to receive a director's cut that will come to PlayStation Vita later this year. Two Brothers is an 8-bit action-adventure RPG that was funded by Kickstarter in 2012. The game will see you take on the role of Roy Gruder, a young inventor who begins to obsess with the idea of finding a new color on Earth after a near-death experience shows him an afterlife filled with color. Your brother Bavar, who is also an inventor and explorer, soon takes on your obsession and you begin a quest. Be sure to check the Vita Lounge regularly for all the updates regarding Two Brothers. Next up, thanks to PlayStation Network stores, we have just learned that Oddworld New and Tasty is almost ready for the Vita. Oddworld inhabitants tweeted to confirm that the PlayStation 4 version will launch on July 22nd and 23rd in North America and Europe. Stuart Gilray from Just Add Water then took to NeoGAF to confirm that the Vita version will be released as close as possible to that date, if not that date. New and Tasty is a full HD remake of the original Oddworld title, Abe's Odyssey, which originally released on the PlayStation 1. The Vita has already had one Oddworld remake in the form of Stranger's Wrath, which we rather liked, so we have high hopes for this. Are you looking forward to it?
Alrighty. Bandai Namco Games Europe has just revealed new details for its upcoming RPG hit, Tales of Hearts R on PlayStation Vita. A press release was issued in light of E3, giving us some new details and screens from Tales of Hearts R, including word on new features and inclusions. These new features include the enhanced aerial chase linear motion battle system, in which players will be able to, quote, move freely in the air and experience fast-paced aerial battles that will be sure to blow enemies away, end quote. Sounds awesome, right? Producer Hideo Baba also commented on some new changes they've instituted into the game in the press release, stating, quote, we received lots of feedback from fans to release Tales of Hearts R, and today we are really happy to announce that the game will get an original Japanese voiceover along with eFigs subtitles to please all the fans, end quote. eFigs is English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish. While previous press releases only dealt with North America, this one has included a release date for Europe and Australasia as well, putting them in the same winter release window. Looks like we'll all be playing Tales of Hearts R sometime this winter.
Ooh, I just pre-ordered that game.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. I haven't played any Tales of Hearts games, but this one looks like it might capture my attention. All right, moving on. Gaijin Games, the developers behind extremely fun Bitrunner titles, have decided to have a name change and will now be known as Totally Choice. On their website, they explain that, quote, when Gaijin Games was founded in September of 2008, it was with the goal of creating the kinds of games we played in our youth. As it turns out, many of the games we grew up playing were developed outside of the US. This is what inspired us to brand ourselves as Gaijins, which in Japanese means outsider. The name made sense, but it also carried somewhat of a negative connotation to it. No matter how you may feel about the word gaijin personally, I think it's fair to say that some people out there view it as a negative term. Being the upbeat, positive folks we are, the last thing we wanted was for people to be offended by our name. We are but humble purveyors of video games, and the end goal of all the work we do is to make people happy. Ergo, we're changing our name to Choice Provisions. They have also announced that they're bringing Whoa Dave to the Vita. Quote, Whoa Dave is a frantic, score-chasing arcade game where players gun for digital glory by destroying monsters, stealing their loose change, and triggering more than enough explosions to deplete the ozone entirely. Have we mentioned that it's also incredibly difficult? Everything on the map, including your ammunition, is trying to kill you. And don't even get me started on the game's hard mode. It's borderline impossible because apparently people who play games are masochists. End quote. We'll bring you more news as we have it for Whoa Dave. And Gio Corsi, the director of third-party productions for PlayStation, announced 2 weeks ago that a new patch was in the works that would deal with some performance and control issues and various crashes. It would appear that they are nearly finished with it and ready for release. The other day on Twitter, after reaffirming Sony's commitment to the PlayStation Vita, he announced that the patch should be available by next week, which is this week. Hopefully this patch will continue to improve a game that has suffered from a number of technical issues since launch, though most people seem to think that they don't hold the game back too much.
All right, next up. This has been doing the rounds for the last few days, but if you haven't seen yet, but Chilean retailer Z-Mart have a page listing for a Vita version of the Plants vs. Zombies sequel, Garden Warfare. There There's not other online listings for the title, nor is a release date present. But Garden Warfare was released on the Xbox 360 and Xbox One earlier this year, and is a tower defense title with third-person shooter elements, and is a sequel to Plants vs. Zombies, which is available on the Vita. That actually kind of looks fun. If it came to the Vita, I'd definitely buy it. And I heard it's really good. Anyways, like us, many of you have asked in the past when Milestone are going to start releasing their racing simulations in North America. Issues such as budget and publishing restrictions have prevented the likes of MotoGP and WRC from making or being released outside of European territories, other than WRC3 hitting our shores ridiculously late, which has been a bit of a letdown for the Vita owners and other WRC MotoGP fans alike, but now that's about to end. Italian developer Milestone has just announced that not only will MotoGP 14 be released in Europe in 9 days, or actually today, or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. But it'll also be making its way to North American fingertips this September, courtesy of publisher Bandai Namco Games. It looks like Europeans won't be the only ones getting their MotoGP on this year. Next up, developed by Mexico-based game studio Xibalba Studios. I probably pronounced that horribly wrong. Militant is a game that has surpassed us with its quality and gameplay, but to find out what the game is really about, here's the official description. Quote, as a new day dawns, you wake to the terrible glamour of explosions as the enemy army approaches. As the long guard in your watchtower, you have no choice but to face the enemy as they overrun the colony. Eventually, you rejoin with your ant army forces, only to find out the horrible truth of your dire situation. This is not a simple skirmish or a lone foe. All of the other insect nations have formed an alliance to eliminate the ant colony once and for all. Now it's up to you to save your civilization and learn what it means to become a hero. You will defend your colony and travel to distant and foreign lands where you will fight the insect invaders and attempt to discover the reason behind this war and how to end it. End quote. Militant is set to release in 2015. Keep an eye on TBL for any updates as they become available.
Yeah, I think that studio's name is Xibalba, like the dude from Star Wars Episode 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Anyway, moving on. Farrell Guerra, SCEE's UK managing director, has let loose some good news for his territory. It will be among the first in Europe to have access to the PlayStation Now streaming rental service. In an interview posted Friday by Digital Spy, Farrell Guerra from the SCEE had this to say about PlayStation Now's release in Europe, specifically the UK. I think the UK will be one of the first European territories to launch in for two good reasons. The first is it has a very strong gaming market, and secondly, the broadband infrastructure is up there with the best in Europe or in the top end. Not all markets are in as strong of a position in terms of broadband infrastructure. So it sounds like those in the UK won't be too far behind North Americans, Canada, US, in the release schedule, seeing as how they'll be one of the first European territories to get the service when it launches there sometime in 2015. Next up, a tweet from an official source has tipped us to the idea that Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires could possibly hit Vita. The official Japanese Twitter account of the Dynasty Warriors series posted that a Vita version of the upcoming Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires is in talks. However, if it does happen, it would be released after the already confirmed PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 versions. Previous titles, Dynasty Warriors Next and Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends, were released on Vita, so it's reasonable to assume we will see this new entry do the same. And Sting developed Dungeon Crawler RPG Dungeon Travelers 2, The Royal Library, and Momono's Seal gets a PlayStation Vita release date in Japan, courtesy of Jamatsu. The PlayStation Vita version of Dungeon Travelers 2, The Royal Library, and Momono's Seal is currently set to launch in Japan on September 25th, the original PSP version launching in March of 2013. The standard edition will cost 5,800 yen when launched, which is about $57, I believe. And pre-orders, including a Vita protection sheet and wallpaper. There will also be a 8,200 yen, which is about $81 premium edition, which includes an acrylic stand, microfiber cloth, and Vita pouch. Look for more information on Dungeon Travelers 2 as it becomes available.
All right, so we've got to the end of the news. So
it's almost over, guys.
Yeah, it's almost over. All right. So, EA Sports has released a list of the platforms that this year's FIFA 15 will be brought to, and it's mixed news for Vita owners. Yes, FIFA 15 will be coming to PlayStation Vita, but very, very sadly, it's another Legacy Edition. So, Legacy Editions of the FIFA games are usually cutback versions, as seen with FIFA 14. In our review, we concluded by saying, quote, if you don't own other versions of this, then this is the best version. But just keep in mind the FIFA 13 is essentially the same and much cheaper. It's a great title, but we deserve better. Maybe next year? End quote. While full details haven't yet been released by EA Sports, Vita owners will be desperately hoping for a more fully fleshed version than we've received for the past 2 years, rather than another iteration of the game with roster and kit updates. Although at the end of the most recent trailer for FIFA 15, a message can clearly be seen stating, not all features available on all gaming platforms. We'll keep you updated with the information we get as soon as it comes in. And this is very frustrating, because I love FIFA, and it would be so amazing if they would actually give the Vita some love, because it could handle it.
It's just lazy. That's all it is. It's just completely lazy. You know, on the one hand, thank the EA for supporting the Vita, but you're not really.
Right.
You know, you're doing the laziest job you can possibly do to just maximise the amount of money that you're going to make from the title. You know, if you really can't be that bothered, just don't release the game at all, and just do a patch or something for the previous year's title to give everyone the kits and the squads. You know, it's just to charge somebody full price for that.
Yeah, they're basically getting the exact same game, but they're paying triple.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's just frustrating. I mean, especially, I said right at the start, PlayStation 4 version of FIFA 14 got a World Cup DLC add-on, and you can play the World Cup matches and do challenges from it and stuff like that. You can't do that on the Vita version. I mean, that would have been nice. Oh, you know, it's just lame.
Yeah. Well, hopefully EA will someday bring us a fully fleshed out FIFA.
Hopefully Konami are listening and they're going to give us Pro Evo.
Yeah.
That'll change the scene a bit.
Something. So the last bit we've got coming up is this, and Kyle's I think got one more. Tecmo Koei's Toukiden Extremes is set to release in Japan on the 28th of August. This week we learn more about some of the new game modes that we can expect once this monster hunting title launches. In this week's edition of Famitsu, we are introduced to these new modes that allow players to kill tough Oni for greater rewards. In endless subjugation duty, you will take on Oni after Oni until you decide to end the mode. The more Oni that you take on, the greater the chance that you will receive rare materials and Matama as your reward. Next up is Urgent Duty. A mode can happen at any time, and when it does, the Oni that you will face will be a mystery until the fight begins. The battle may be a tough one, but again, the reward will be worth your troubles. And finally, Famitsu also brings news of a new Oni named the Gazunui. This Oni is a mythical two-tailed cat monster or Nikomata that is cunning, agile, and brutal. Are you looking forward to this reimagining of Toukiden? The Vita Lounge will keep you posted on all the Toukiden Extreme news as it happens.
Alrighty, and our very last actual news piece. Marvelous AQL's upcoming Vita game, IAVT Colorful, has had some light shed on its step-up play mode in a free online excerpt from the week's issue of Famitsu. The game, a music game based on Vocaloid IA project, has a mode called Step Up Play, which is a type of mission mode designed to add variety to the way that you play the rhythm game. You can play Step Up Play mode with every song in the game, and this mode will task you with challenges designed specifically for each song. Clearing these challenges will dish out reward points that will enable you to move on to the next step. Challenges will include goals such as achieving a certain score, racking up a certain amount of points, which are cool rankings, based on your button timing, and clearing the song within a set amount of misses. The excerpt also details the ability to customize parts of the game's graphical user interface, such as the icons and gauges that can be seen while playing, and you can purchase these options in an in-game shop using the points that you collect in the game's various modes and can be activated from the settings. Due to release in Japan on July 31st with no word on a Western localization, be sure to check the Vita Lounge for all your IAVT colorful news. And also this week, we saw trailers for Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Number, Oreshika, Tainted Bloodlines, Danganronpa 2, Goodbyes Despair, Danganronpa, Another Episode, Phantasy Star Nova, Monster Hunter Frontier G, Militant, Z-Run, Lost Dimension, Tukiden Extreme, The Regular Magic High School, Corpse Party Blood Drive, Disgaea 4, Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment, and Ultra Dimension Action Neptunia U. Ha! Along with these trailers, some others also came in with a bit of extra information. A trailer for Citizens of Earth revealed an October release window, and one for Jacob Jones Episode 2 revealed that it would be coming to iOS first. We also got a look at a Vita sizzle reel from E3, which the consensus seems to be should have been shown during the PlayStation conference. And that's all the news.
Woo!
Moving on to talking points. First up, we have announced released games we're looking forward to from the week. So, what are you guys interested in? Paul?
Quite a lot from the conference that I'm looking forward to. I'm like many gamers, I never really got to experience Grim Fandango the first time round. So it's nice to see that something that's quite got quite a reputation but wasn't experienced by a lot of people is going to get an up-to-date version made for it. So I'll be looking forward to that when it comes. But it's just too many to really talk about. We've already spoken for the best part of 45 minutes about the news this week, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of games.
Yeah, they're just releasing so much. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we'll come on to the conference in a second, won't we? But there's this fallacy that there's nothing good coming out on the Vita is just unbelievable. There's just so much stuff coming that's going to be worth a play.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for Big Fest. They kind of showed a little bit saying that it's free to play and whatnot, but still not too much is known about it. But I watched a video I think it was on PlayStation's YouTube channel of them kind of running through it, and it looks just like a zombie tycoon or one of the tycoon type of games where you run around just doing tycoon stuff, making everyone happy, or ruining your friends' concerts. So, and
I mean, a lot of people have been looking forward to that one and trying to find out more information. And the fact that it's going to be free to play as well it's going to appeal to a lot of people. Yeah.
The only thing that I'm hoping about the free to play nature is that it's either like free to play or you can just like buy the whole thing for like a certain price. Because I don't mind in-app purchases, but some free to play games where literally to have fun you have to buy like packs or something every once in a while. It's like, come on, just give me the game and let me enjoy it. But yeah, I'm probably excited for that one the most. There's a few more games, like you were saying. There's so many games that we just can't talk about them all. So yeah.
Off the top of my head, I'm looking forward to Bon Appetit, the Senran Kagura game, definitely. Hohokam looks good. What else? Oh, Another World kind of looks good. I never played the original, so I thought maybe I'd get into that one. Baboon, definitely. The Tetris Ultimate, that's awesome.
Absolutely,
I've been waiting for a great Tetris game, especially a portable one, for a very long time. Most of the Devolver games I thought were pretty awesome looking.
Agreed.
Tales from the Borderlands, Tales from Hearts R, which they showed a little bit more on. There's just so much, like MotoGP 14, which is coming this September to North America now. Woo. There's just so much games, man. I have a backlog a mile long, and it's just going to get longer.
Absolutely, and like Brad was saying on the site, this child-friendly approach that Sony seem to be adopting now. I'm going to have to give my other Vita to my kids. It's Disney Infinity 2. I like I'll admit that I've played the original one. I play it with the kids sometimes. I mean, it's like a better Skylanders, and if it's pushed the right way, I think that's gonna do quite well as well.
I think anything good for kids will do quite well, just because kids get a lot as far as like when they get into games, they beg for them, and then they get like a lot of stuff at Christmas. So getting the kids into it is going to push sales of games and consoles way up, I think.
Absolutely.
So definitely things like Disney Infinity, and even some better quality Lego games, because some of them have been kind of shit. Not to rag on them, but yeah, they've been kind of shit. So some better quality Lego games would be awesome. I think that would do well for bringing the kids in, and then Minecraft is a huge one.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, all of these things are not worth anything unless you're going to have the visibility and the marketing presence to go with it. My kids, they'll see something on the telly and then they'll nag me until I go out and get it for them. And if you have that caliber of title on the platform, it's going to shift and it's going to create awareness and more publicity.
I definitely agree there. I definitely agree. All right, I think that's all our thoughts on that one. Let's move on to the PlayStation E3 conference and our thoughts on the actual E3 conference that they did on, I believe it was the first night of E3. So, Paul, Tyler, any thoughts?
I thought it was pretty disappointing. I mean, I didn't stay up and watch it. I mean, it was 2:00 in the morning UK time. And call me cynical, but I didn't expect there to be anything pretty impressive that they were going to show. And that in itself isn't right. There should have been things to discuss, but there wasn't major things. But that's not to say that there weren't things. It's just the way it's been portrayed in the media is worse than it is.
Yeah. I'm probably in the same boat as you, disappointed, but also I think I actually expected a little more than what they did. Like there was a couple announcements here or there, but they were so it almost seemed like they didn't even care. Like they're just like, this is what's going on, and let's go to the next thing. And this game's let's go to the next thing. Like they didn't give a chance to like explain the games that they did announce for the Vita.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of anger on the internet. It's like was just mentioned a few seconds ago about the Sizzle trailer. Could they really not squeeze that in?
Right.
It's like, this is a little bit about what's coming up for Vita, and then play the trailer. It's 2 minutes and 4 seconds or something. And it's just, the amount of time they wasted on things they didn't need to waste. It's good that they're talking about PlayStation now. You've already told us it's coming to Vita. We know. You haven't told us anything new. It's remote play. Yeah, you've been banging on about it since you announced that every basic PlayStation 4 title that doesn't use an accessory has to be remote played.
Yeah.
We know you're not telling anybody any new information. That's not you've already sold Vitas to the people that actually care about that.
Right.
It's tell us about the games. And there's a lot of anger towards this lack of AAA or lack of big name titles, and we'll come on to that in a minute. But there are games. Talk about them. Where's you getting excited about Freedom Wars? Where's the announcements about Gravity Rush? Number 2. All these titles that are coming out for you, even if they are multi-platform or across all 3. Tell us, show us.
Right.
Get some excitement. I mean, it's like you haven't got the excitement for your own product, and then you wonder why the negative headlines get written. when in a few sentences you do mention Tales of the Borderlands, you do mention Disney Infinity, you do mention Minecraft, and it's like, don't just say them and move on. Give us something to think about. You've got over 100 games in development. Great, tell us.
Exactly.
It's disappointing. It's just like they were trying to do too much, and they were trying to, focus on what they think is the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand that they just released, or this is like the PlayStation 4 first E3, and they have to show all their higher up people that are putting their money in, and like all the shareholders and everything. Like, this is what we're committed to. Our PS4 is the big picture. The Vita is sadly turning into kind of just like an accessory to the PS4, and they showed it by not really talking too much about it.
Absolutely, but that's not the case. I mean, it's Andrew House's interview. He didn't specifically say the Vita is just a PlayStation 4 accessory. He didn't,
Right.
It's just, but that's how it's been portrayed because they cherry pick the words that they want to use and then repeat them. And you can't exactly say no, he didn't say that because that's the way it's been interpreted. But they've cut out the bits that say this is just one aspect of it.
Right.
I mean,
All right. I'm going to jump in there because I got a couple things to say. First of all, unlike you guys, I thought it was actually kind of decent for Vita. I really went into it not expecting anything. I expected them to say maybe like a couple of titles that were, cross-buy or whatever they would mention, and it's coming to Vita. I didn't really think they were going to do anything. I predicted that it was going to be Gamescom and TGS this year that was going to be Vita, and this was going to be nothing, and I got a lot more than I thought I was going to get, so I'm actually quite happy. I was happy with the announcements that they got, and if you actually look at what resonated with the people, it seems like they were happy with the little that we got too, because even though there was all these people, complaining about the lack of AAAs and stuff like that, Disney Infinity 2.0 and Tales of Borderlands post got huge hits on the site compared to the other stuff we were announcing. So it's obvious that people actually care, and they should have spent some time on that kind of thing because people, want to know that kind of stuff. So it's worth it. And the other thing is, you can say all you want that the Vita is an accessory, but when it has over 160 games coming to the West and I have no idea, but I have at least 55 on my list here coming that are Japan only that could come here, or, people import. Some of these games don't necessarily require Japanese knowledge. That's 200 games plus that are coming that we know of. That's not, the stuff that they don't announce and they wait till last minute like this magical beat kind of thing. That's what we know of that's coming. 200 games. So it's not dead. It's not an accessory. Stop saying it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's an accessory. I mean, as we keep saying, we've got too many games in our backlog, and
Exactly.
Shahid's got 70 games from his own team coming, and it's like, Gio's going to have more games coming. Just because something hasn't been announced doesn't mean that we aren't going to see something. It's a combination of things. It's so many people are so caught up in the dire situation, and it's got no games, or it's got no big name games, or whatever they changed the cry to this week. It's they go into these things expecting that the saviour's going to come along. And then when it doesn't, it's like, oh, well, that's dead then. Well, it's not. It just needs a bit more. It just needs a bit more of a push and a bit more exposure, and everyone to stop getting on its back. There are plenty of things out there. Just because you specifically don't like something or a type of game, and these Japanese games that are coming over is fantastic for people that like that kind of thing. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm not berating them for bringing them over. It's just because something's not for you doesn't mean it's not for someone else.
Right.
We don't all think the same.
All right, we should probably head on to the next topic. I think we've got that one pretty good.
All right, our next topic here is the Type O debacle. You guys, what the hell?
This was the rod that broke the camel's back on E3, because after what everybody interpreted as a disappointing E3, it was announced that Final Fantasy Type 0, a Japanese-only PSP title, was actually going to come out for the Vita. And everyone was all excited, and it was all over Twitter. And as quick as it was posted, it was then taken away and said it was going to be PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, no Vita.
Yeah. So, I think it is coming to the Vita. They just, I think, did it a little too soon, and they are confirming it for PS4, Xbox One, and it's just in the works for the Vita right now.
Yeah, it's complicated, isn't it? I mean, I think Shahid said as much on Twitter. I mean, I for what it's worth, I think our official view at the Vita Lounge is that it is coming, guys. It's just they're not allowed to announce it yet. It'll probably be Tokyo Game Show or Gamescom, or possibly even later on this year. But it will be announced. I'd bet my house on it. It's just difficult because when it comes, the excitement that would have come from it is going to have add a bit of the wind taken from its wings, you know.
Yeah.
But don't be too downhearted. We think it's coming.
Let's hope we're right.
Let's hope so. Can explain why it wasn't the one chosen for JRPG Vita.
The only thing with me is you would think that if they, something big like that, they would have mentioned it at E3.
You would think so.
But they end up coming like a way later, posting it on the PlayStation blog. Then it gets retracted because they screwed up and whatever.
Even on stage though, they could have just said, "Oh yeah, and for Vita fans, Final Fantasy Type 0," and then just drop the mic and walk off. Just, that would have appeased everybody, but just not to be at this time.
See, the thing that I'm thinking is that it's also coming to the Xbox One, right?
That's right.
What I'm thinking is that maybe Microsoft has because they like to do their little contract things where it can only be on the Xbox first for like a month, and then it can come to other platforms. And they might have something to be like no mobile titles or no mobile releases, so that they're not. Sony's not allowed to say that it's coming to Vita yet until that contract.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's this complicated thing, isn't there, on Xbox One? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah. I think
it was the same thing with Minecraft. It came out for Xbox.
Yeah, the guys from Flambeer wrote a post about it on the internet. I remember reading Microsoft have got some sort of period where a game can only appear on their console if it comes out at the same time or first.
Right.
I could be wrong. Someone can email in and tell me if I'm wrong or not. But I'm pretty sure that's the gist I got from the Flambeer guys. So
it could just be something simple as that.
It could just be something as technical as that, because the posts on Twitter seem to be more a retractment than no, it's not coming. Do you know what I mean?
Right. They're like, we need to protect ourselves. Get this off.
Sorry, we made a mistake. There's nothing to announce at this time. It's
wink, wink at this time.
Yeah, but we hope so. I mean, hopefully we'll have a better conversation on this in a few months.
Yeah, hopefully.
I heard a bit about that Xbox One deal as well, and I believe I heard pretty much the same thing as you, Paul. Although now that I think that if it affects Vita in that way, I'm going to get pretty mad about that if that's the deal, because I think that's poor showing as far as the anti kind of trust things that the big companies try and do. Like how Windows used to push Internet Explorer. Now Microsoft is pushing, if you go on their console, it has to be first and exclusive and blah blah blah. I think that's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I think they call it a parity clause. I think that's what they're calling it, or something like that.
Yeah, it's. That's no good at all. If that's the deal, I'm going to start a campaign against that crap.
Well, the thing is Sony's starting to do it too with Battlefield and Destiny getting all their things.
It's been the way for a while. It's normally been sort of like exclusive DLC for a period of a couple of weeks and stuff.
There's nothing really wrong with exclusive DLC, but making it a mandatory something when you sign on and it has to be if it's coming out at the same time or first, blah, 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 you're pretty much screwing over a huge crowd because of that. So that's not cool at all. That should be something that somebody should be looking into.
Yeah. I mean, we're all just pissing in the wind with this, aren't we? I mean, we don't know. It's but hopefully it is something just as simple as a technical period of exclusivity or you can't communicate it, and then we'll be told later on. So.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out hopefully soon.
This rolls into our next point that we want to talk about, doesn't it? With the negativity around the Vita.
Yeah.
The negative energy which surrounds the PlayStation Vita. It's we touched on it a second ago. I mean, at first it had no games, and then it had no big name games, and then I didn't buy it to play indie games, even though the same indie games come out on the PC and they come out on the PlayStation 3 and they come out on the PlayStation 4. Yet the Vita's not good enough for this caliber of title, and it's just we understand, and I when I bought my PlayStation Vita, I didn't expect it to be in the situation it's in now, 2.5 years on from buying it, you know. But rather than get angry about it and the rest of it, I've just embraced what is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing is pretty much like that too. Like I didn't expect it to be this way when I was going in, but now that I'm here and seeing what's around, I'm not really having any problem with it. I've got like a ridiculous backlog. There's still all these games coming and out that I still need to buy. Like I have no problem with how the Vita's running right now, and if they kept going with this quality of games and this, type of release, I'd be fine sticking with the Vita. I have no problem with that. Yeah. Although, yes, I would like some exclusives, and yes, I would like AAAs, but who the frig doesn't? Like,
absolutely.
Come on.
I mean, I bought a Vita to play games conveniently. I'm in my mid-30s. I've got children. I can't command the TV and play games as much anymore. And with all the talk about remote play and things like that, I bought a PlayStation 4 because of remote play. I didn't buy a Vita to remote play. I bought a PlayStation 4 because I could play my PlayStation 4 on my Vita without Mrs. Murphy getting the ump because she's missing EastEnders or anything. It's I'm in that bracket, which is a small bracket. I will add, of people that are in that kind of boat. But that's the thing. It appeals to different people, and unfortunately, the current library doesn't appeal to everybody. And that's just unfortunate.
It never will, really, unless something's getting complete support like the PlayStation 4 is now. And even then, it takes time to build up that library, because you could point out in various categories right now stuff the PlayStation 4 is missing and bitch about their games, but nobody does.
No, I mean, Blue Maximum mentioned it the other day, saying that you get a couple of people saying Indie Station 4 and this, that, the other, but people, this is the way the game is going. Big blockbuster titles are gonna become few and far between because they cost too much money to make. They're too much of a risk, and that is the truth with the Vita. It's too much of a high risk product to make games for, and you will get people that will take a punt. And with a bit more exposure and a bit more support, then hopefully we will see some more quality titles coming through. But that doesn't mean they're not there already. You guys have been badgering me to play Persona 4 for years. And it's a title I'd have never played before. And I probably only played it because I've been experimenting and trying to find other things to play. And that's why I enjoy it, because I love that game and I'd have never touched it before. And the thing is, the Vita is full of games like that.
Oh, yeah, I agree completely. It's full of games that are surprises that people never knew about, or that they've heard and they thought, that's, a game on Vita or whatever. It's not going to be that great or whatever. And they really surprise people. Like, if you show somebody how to play Gravity Rush, I'm not talking just give them the game and let them play, because a lot of people seem to play kind of weird. It seems they seem to think the game is slow and stuff like that. If you actually get into playing it, learn all the tricks and stuff like that, that's one of the funnest games to just screw around in. I just pop in Gravity Rush every once in a while and just fly around doing aerial kicks and stuff.
Once the controls grip you, once you get it, it's there. I mean, Yuki's just sent us a message saying the Atelier series. But these are things as well. These are things that would have been just in Japan many years ago and wouldn't even have been released in the West. And there's a lot of negativity for digital delivery and the price of the memory cards, but digital delivery itself enables these things to come out at a far lower risk than a physical copy ever would.
We have way more games now because we go digital than we ever would if it was physical only.
Absolutely. I mean, there's pros and cons for both. I mean, more digital titles is good in that regard, but it's poor for a retail presence. Which is obviously one of the Vita's other big problems. And this is where bundles need to come in, and we've got a lot of bundles here in the UK and in Europe, and I don't think they're really replicated so well stateside. I mean, the Assassin's Creed White Vita bundle that launched 6 months after the Vita that did quite well. Borderlands 2 seemingly has done quite well. In terms of the bundle, and if you have the right bundle, then it's gonna, to an extent, shift itself.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the other side of the coin is, it doesn't matter what bundles you bring out if you don't advertise them. I think absolutely. The biggest thing with the Vita is that people don't know about the Vita and know about what it has and what it can really do. If you look at even back to like the PlayStation Portable, those original first commercials with the Franz Ferdinand song where the guy's walking down the street and, he's listening to music, playing a game, stuff's like changing around him into different characters and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing that they need for Vita. They need something where it's like one of those commercials where the guy, walks out his front door or sits down with his Vita and it just goes through a couple of seconds of everything the Vita can do. Guy fires up remote play, plays some Killzone Shadowfall, drops that down, goes into party chat mode, loads up Killzone Mercenary or something with somebody to play some games there, gets a tweet, replies with a screenshot, all the different stuff that Vita can do because people don't know. Like I've been saying since the start, if you take Vitas into a mall and had like a presence, like a little Sony booth that said, PlayStation Vita, a kiosk right in the middle of the mall saying that come in and play Vita, we'll talk about it, and had like Vita geniuses like the Apple Store had who were there to talk about Vita, you would sell consoles like nothing. Like people would be walking in and buying consoles and leaving with them like crazy because people don't know about it. If you tell them, they will buy it. That's just the way it is.
Absolutely. It's the same as anything. If you plug it enough, people will buy it on name alone. They'll probably be swarming to the internet complaining there's no AAA games, but
yeah, the purchase will be there whether they sell it later or not. The purchase will be
there, But it's exposure and awareness are the biggest fundamental flaws. I mean, you can get into the details of the library afterwards, but there's over 200 games available for the Vita, and hand on heart, I stand here. Well, I mean, available right now in the West and.
Oh, in the West, maybe 250, 300.
Yeah, that's where that's where I'm going. But of those, easily 50, 60, 70 of them are definitely worth playing and are fun and will occupy you time. That's being honest. And that's without saying that you'd probably still find something to enjoy in the rest. There are so many games on there, and people are like, what's worth buying a Vita for? Uncharted, Hot Shots Golf, Wipeout. These games all came out at launch. They didn't stop being good.
Look at my trophy list, and anything that I've 100%ed, that's a great game. There's a huge list of them.
These games don't stop being good, and this is what we want to try and achieve with Lounge Play, is getting people playing these games together. Dig them out, have a bit of fun on them, and so on and so forth. Build that community spirit and camaraderie, and all of us. Enjoy playing the Vita together. Find something to enjoy about it, and stop the negativity. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but there's too much. If you don't enjoy it, that's fair enough. Just go and sell it then. Just go and sell it.
I agree with that. There are too many people that say, blah, 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 I hate the Vita, this is crap, where's all the AA games, I never play this, blah, 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 like all these complaints. And then they keep it and just keep complaining. If you don't like something, get over it and sell it. And not everything is going to fit to every person. There's certain game libraries for certain things. That's why people are Xbox players or PlayStation players or Nintendo players, or go with certain, everyone likes something different. And everything's not going to appeal to everybody. Get over it. Fix the situation. If you don't like whatever's on Vita, go buy a 3DS. It ain't going to be anything off our skins, because then we don't have to hear you.
So in line with that train of thought, some of you might have actually seen us using the hashtag PSVITA Direct on Twitter. We're having a discussion with other Vita communities at the moment as the best way to move forward with this, but there's no denying that we need to have more exposure and more awareness for the Vita. And what we ultimately want is, in the light of E3 and Gamescom and disappointing presentations, is if the Vita is not going to be your primary focus, and let's face it, it's a secondary console to them, it's not their main focus, and whether we think that's right or wrong, that's how they view it. The PlayStation 4 is their baby now, and the Vita is the additional product that's there as well. If they're not going to focus on it and show us what is coming, then perhaps the time has come for them to start showing the Vita games on their own in different presentations. So whilst we work out how we're going to come up with a campaign to get that happening, what we hope that you can do for us is, whenever you see some news, whenever you're doing a retweet or you're seeing a review, just stick the hashtag PSVITA Direct up there, just so that it gets some awareness going for this movement that we want to do. There's other movements out there that we know about. If you want to use those as well, that's obviously down to you. But we want a positive approach to try and get Sony to recognise that we as Vita gamers want to see more Vita news. You know, case in point, there's Minecraft videos on both the PlayStation blogs this week talking about PlayStation 4 version. You know, where's the Vita content? Another World gets mentioned today on the blog. Where's the mention for the Vita version? You know, it's all no focus on the product, and then you wonder why you've got your detractors or your doubters or you don't have the exposure. And this is kind of like a mentality that we want to try and shift.
Yeah, I got to know, even big titles, the Ratchet and Clank Trilogy Collection is a big title in North America. They slipped it in at the end of a PlayStation 4 post about Ratchet and Clank coming back to PlayStation 4. Like a sentence saying, you know, it's coming to Vita in July in North America.
It's a
Most people don't even know.
By the way. Yeah, by the way, it's coming on Vita as well for those of you that bought a Vita. You know, why can't it have its own post?
It needs its own
make
post.
Some noise. Make some noise. You know, it's if you don't have the resources to make the posts or the staff to make the posts, hello, we're the Vita Lounge. We've got a lot of writers. You know, we write a lot of news. You know, the content is there, people. You know, we've for the last 2 years we've made lots of posts monthly.
2,400 posts right now on the site.
In 2 years, nearly 200 reviews. You know, you can't say there is no content because it's there. We cover it. You know, and you know, yeah, the PlayStation blog can't cover everything, but surely they can talk about something.
We do.
We do. And it's not just us; other communities do as well. You know,
exactly.
There's channels and other sites out there. There's a whole plethora of information for the Vita out there. You know, we're just asking to see more of it. You know, and we could all club together and we could do our own thing and stuff, but we're still limited by our own resources. You know, we can only comment on what we've actually played in the actual videos we have. This is going to be more effective coming from Sony themselves, showing a bit of passion about their product. And that's what we want.
Amen.
So start them hashtags.
Yeah, hashtag PSVITA Direct. That's about all I've got to say about that.
And our last piece here on Talking Points. What do you guys think about the Vita TV rename?
What the heck was that? Is someone sleeping?
No, that's my pug. It's my fucking dog too. Right, probably out.
Gosh. I was like, did someone actually just literally fall asleep in like 5 seconds?
I thought you were making fun of me, Tyler.
Right, on, guys.
All right.
Might jump back in, I might not. All right.
All right.
Cool.
Okay, so do you want to just read it again, or do you care to just leave that? So
yeah, I'll read it again here.
All right.
All right, so our last talking point here is the Vita TV rename. What do you guys think about that?
So I think it's smart and kind of telling. Having it named PlayStation TV is obviously they don't want to put the TV or the Vita name on it because not a lot of people know about the Vita. So someone's gonna be like PlayStation Vita TV. What's that mean? Whereas someone sees PlayStation TV, oh, boom, I know exactly what that means. PlayStation on my TV, cool. So it's smart from a marketing standpoint, but at the same time, they're trying to get that Vita name off of it to, you know, get more people recognizing what it's all about. At least that's my opinion.
Seems to me like it's more of a culture kind of thing. Like over there, Vita's kind of bigger. They don't have like a lot of stuff where it's, you know, media streaming devices that they use apparently. So that's not that big over there. Using the Vita name on the Vita TV product kind of pushed it more there than necessarily the PlayStation TV name would. So I can understand that. And I can understand that when they're bringing it here, they want it to be more about the PlayStation ecosystem because really it doesn't just do Vita stuff and it doesn't do all Vita stuff either. So it's kind of its own separate entity. But I think what would be a good idea, since they are dropping the name over here, would be to, when they advertise it, if they advertise it, they should throw, you know, Vita games that work on there and make a little note about that it plays Vita games, but not all of them or something like that, in the actual like ad or whatever, just so that it gets that recognition out there, and whatever else they mention about, you know, features and stuff, because it does have a lot, would be great, but I think that's definitely something that they need to address.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting, but it all makes sense really about having them change the name. And that's all she wrote.
All right. Well, Paul has dipped out here, so we're just going to finish this up, Tyler and I, with Yuki here in the chat. Moving on to listener mail. So here's our first one from Dan in Snohomish. Hey, Kyle and Tyler. After watching Sony's E3 press conference at a movie theater in Seattle, yeah, that was actually awesome, I came away with a bit of a bleak feeling towards the future of Vita. All that was talked about with regards to the Vita was the use of the conduit between you and your PS4. Perhaps I'm just too worried. PS4 was obviously the focus. So what do you think this E3 means for the future of Vita?
Well, Dan from Snohomish, I was at that E3 press conference thingy in Seattle as well, so you might have seen me walking around. But I don't know. I was at the front of the line. I don't remember what I was wearing. But
missed encounter, you guys.
Yeah, we should connect on Craigslist. No. But yeah, it was actually pretty fun. I do agree that I think we kind of really talked about all of it in this whole podcast about E3 and the Vita and the future. And
well, I think really what his question is that's kind of a little bit different from what we talked about is what do you think this means for the Vita? Like we've talked about, the misconceptions and blah blah blah. Well, what does this actually mean for the Vita?
Okay, yeah. It could mean a few different things. We don't work for Sony, so we don't really know what their plan is, but it could mean that they really are focusing on just the Vita being that accessory, being remote play and all that, and occasionally releasing some games for the Vita that are great, but not really advertising them. Or it could just mean that they're, like Kyle said, that E3 is not the Vita show, and that Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show is the Vita show, and that's when we'll see everything. And Sony already knows what they're planning, so it could be either or something totally different.
Yeah, you've kind of covered my point there. I think this means diddly squat as far as anything for the Vita. Actually, I think it was a bit of a bump because number one, it got people talking about Vita. Number two, they actually did announce some stuff, Tales from the Borderlands, Disney Infinity, some stuff that actually got some press there. And really, I wasn't expecting anything, and Gamescom and TGS are probably going to be the big things anyway, so really I don't think this means a whole lot other than maybe a little bit of good and a little bit of press, because even bad press is good press. So whatever. Hope we answered your question, Dan.
Yeah. Don't feel all sad just yet. I think there's still stuff to come and still shows to happen that they could be like, yes, Vita, 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 Vita.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have a message from @Liam Hangover on Twitter. That's Liam Langan. And he says, with the Vita Slim bundle performing well in the US, does that help the fans' argument that Vita was wrongfully neglected at E3? And if you guys haven't heard, there's I guess you would consider it a rumor at this point, that the Borderlands bundle has sold 56,000 copies in the US, with 27,000 more copies of just the game being sold. So that's the rumor news for right now.
Which is great. Yeah, I'm having a brain fart right now. I had what I was going to say. Do you want to just go first?
Sure. So what I think is whether it helps the fans' argument that it was wrongfully neglected, I'm not sure. Like I said, you can't really expect a whole lot from E3. I went in expecting almost nothing and was actually a little bit pleasantly surprised by what we did get. And especially like back behind the scenes, they released quite a few trailers and other things were announced that really weren't covered in any of these press conferences or anything. So that was kind of nice as well. But does it help the argument? Yes and no. Really, I don't think we should have expected anything. So I'm not, on board with this Vita hate right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I'd agree with everything that you just said. It's, yeah.
It does show that the Vita can perform well, but
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think that was necessarily neglect as much as they just weren't going to do that, and that was just the way it was from the start.
Yeah, I think it should just prove to Sony that you put the right game on the Vita and you bundle it, it's gonna sell.
Even with bad press. Like,
Yeah.
it got all this bad press for having all these issues. Look at how well it sold.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Call of Duty and Declassified. That bundle probably sold pretty well. And that was early in the Vita's life, so, I mean, you never know.
Very true, very true. All right, moving on to our very last listener mail. We have a question from Xtema, at Xtema on Twitter. And this is a pretty good one. What are your favorite gaming snacks or drinks?
Oh, boy. So, I should eat a lot healthier, but I like to just go for the simple, like, Doritos, nachos, cheese, or I've been obsessed with sunflower seeds lately, although they're really annoying to other people when you can hear me, like, spitting them out and whatnot, so I tend to mute my mic when I'm playing games with friends, that way they don't have to hear me. Drinks, I would probably say soda, Dr. Pepper, or anything really. I'm not too picky about what I drink while I'm playing video games.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. My favorite gaming snacks or drinks. Well, for snacks, I like simple stuff that doesn't get like your hands messy. So stuff like what the hell are those things called? Brain blank. Tyler.
Yes.
No, don't do it. That just screws my brain up. Oh fuck. Milk duds. There we go. So I love stuff like milk duds or just like chocolate that I can throw in my mouth and like chew on or suck on or whatever just while I'm like screwing around. Stuff that doesn't get my hands gross. As far as drinks, I'm pretty typical, I guess. Coffee, Red Bull, water. Any of those I'm down for. Anything else, not so much. So yeah, those are my gaming snacks and drinks. Pretty simple.
You should have told us yours, Xtema.
Yeah, so write in and tell us yours, and we'll read them, especially if there's something crazy on the next podcast.
Yeah, maybe you have like a nice steak dinner. Get it all prepared.
Steak dinner while playing Vita, that'd be fun.
Just hear you like cutting the steak on their plate. And you're like, oh, I'm just having a steak. Don't worry. Killed some people in Killzone. All right. Is that all our questions or emails?
That is. So it looks like we're moving on to our game recommendation of the week, which I'm going to take. I'm actually not sure who's supposed to be this week, but I'm stealing it anyway. And I would like to recommend that if you're in North America, you go buy Hot Shots Golf as soon as you friggin' hear this, because it's $3.25 on PlayStation Plus. And for that price, if you don't like the game, then you can just go to hell.
You should definitely get it, because then you can be like, guess what, guys? I can join you in lounge play and play with everyone, because we need some more people to join in the Hot Shots Golf lounge play, because we get a decent amount for Killzone, but when we want to play Hot Shots Golf, we have like one extra person. We need to get a full group going. It's really entertaining.
Exactly. Not only that, but Hot Shots Golf is an awesome game, even for people who don't like golf. I'm not a big fan of golf games or watching golf, but I love it. And same can be said for a lot of people out there. A lot of the reviews are like, I'm not a big golf fan, but this game is awesome. And it's just the perfect thing for me to sit down and just play for a couple minutes, go through a match, just screw around in practice mode or whatever, try for shots.
Lose from Tyler.
It's awesome. Yeah, lose from Tyler when I'm playing the PlayStation 3 version too much. Stuff happens. So it's good times to be had for all, whether you're losing to Tyler or not.
Yeah, so get the game, and then you can try to beat me, and if you beat me, then you can be like, yeah, I'm badass.
Yeah, pretty much. We're pretty good. We usually stay in the negatives, so have some game if you're going to come up against us, but bring it on for sure.
We accept
like
the
competition.
I think I went like -8 or 9 the last game we played.
Yeah, something like that.
I was like on fire.
Yeah. Well, there's been times like I think I still have a screenshot somewhere where it's me and you and we're like -17 or something like that. So we get some pretty crazy ones going up there. It happens.
Yeah. So get the game, no excuses.
Yeah, exactly. No excuses.
If you already have it, then send us a message and tell us that you want to join in the Lounge Play, because that's probably going to be a game we'll play pretty soon again for Lounge Play.
Or if you already have it in physical copy, like me,
ooh,
get it in digital copy, like me.
There you go. I have it digital. I think I got it back. Was it ever free on Plus?
I don't think so, but I'm not 100%.
I think I asked that last time.
Yeah, I don't think so. I know it's been free in Europe recently, but I don't think it's been free in North America.
Because I think I bought it when it was on Plus, or like for discounted, because I was like, ah, shit, I've been wanting this game. It's on Plus, I might as well.
Well, it's been discounted a lot, so that's quite possible.
Yeah, so grab it, people.
Yeah,
I got my new computer. I can finally record videos much better and efficiently. So definitely get in the Lounge Play and enjoy the fun that we have.
Hell yes.
All right, well, let's get out of here. We've been recording for like an hour and 45 minutes now. All right, so you can check out all the news stories that we talked about in the podcast on the VitaLounge.net. Don't forget to follow us all on Twitter. I'm at Mr. PS Vita Reviews. Kyle is at Teflon Tactics. Paul is at, oh gosh, I haven't said Paul
at
a lot.
P. Murphy, I believe it's 1978.
All right. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. That way I can just say it by memory. Yuki is at Yuki_WR. Don't forget to join or like the Facebook page. Just search the Vita Lounge. YouTube, Lounge Play is back. We skipped, well, we kind of did, but wait, did we? Yeah, we did, because of my computer. Yeah, sad day. So, like I said earlier, my computer's back, so I can record videos now. We did some Killzone, was it Sunday night? Last night?
Yes, it was.
Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night. So I haven't put that video up yet because I have to get all my stuff set up and edited right, and then that video will be up. So yeah, we did just Killzone on Sunday. This week we'll probably do more Killzone, maybe Hot Shots Golf. Everyone should just buy it, and we will definitely do Hot Shots Golf. And then if you guys want to throw in some suggestions, let us know. There's a few games that I think Kyle posted a list of all the games that me and Kyle have that you can see if you have, and you can suggest that game for this upcoming Lounge Play.
Yes, that's on the forum. So just look for the Lounge Play topic on the, I believe it's the multiplayer section of the PS Vita forum.
All right. And speaking of the forum, go join the forum, sign up, and you can post in there. Let us know. Introduce yourself. Get some good friends that all have Vitas and enjoy the Vita Lounge. So do that. We are on iTunes, so subscribe to us on there. Rate us. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you think we need to fix. Hopefully we won't miss another episode, because missing the E3 episode was not good because we had way too much news. But next week we'll be back with much less news, so we can get through that quicker and get back to talking points and the interesting stuff.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we are out, so have a great week, and we will talk to you guys next week. See ya.
Later, guys.